Hey there in YouTube land. How are you? Hope you're doing good. Well, let's get into it. I just watched BB27 episode 26 with my girl Angela, and it was really good. So, this started off with Vince, Mickey, and Morgan being on the block. Um, Keanu wanted Morgan out. So, um, Ava was just happy to not be uh, on the block. Let's see. Ava was happy about Vince on the. She was happy about Vince on the block. That was so funny. She's just happy that Vince is on the block, and so they had a good segment at the beginning with Rachel doing exercises. It was a funny, sarcastic moment that you really need to look at again because they did good. They handed it to the Big Brother editors. They know how to edit fantastically. So, I mean, I enjoyed that one, and it was very fun. And then Keanu wanted Kelly to win when they do the veto. And he asked Kelly, would she take Vince off the block? He's now had reconsidering having Vince since they've been talking, and now he wants to take Vince off the block. And so he wanted to win, and he wanted Kelly to win. He checked with Lauren. Kelly flat out said, not directly, no. She said in the Big Brother conversation, she would not take Vince off. She's still got a grudge against Vince. And then he asked Lauren, well, Lauren's just like silly putty. She's just like, I'll go along with it. Yeah. And and it kind of reminded me when he was talking to her of what Rachel's sarcastic thing was, that Lauren she's a slow pauser. You ask her a question and she basically almost like a robot has to compute it and analyze it, and she just stands there and she gives you a slow, long answer. Well, anyway, that's what Keanu was doing. Keanu, I got to say that name right, Keanu. And Ava sees Morgan and Vince. Oh yeah, that was bad. Vince got a girlfriend, from what I understand. Here is Morgan in there rubbing Vince's arm to slowly wake him up. And Ava walks in and and sees this, and she's just dumbfounded. She's like, what are y'all doing in here? And so she and Morgan and them don't even Morgan doesn't even think that looks weird. And she told Rachel and Ashley and Will and Mickey, and Rachel said, in one of her segues in the Big Brother room, she says, relationships happen fast in Big Brother, whether you're married or not. And Vince may be just falling prey to just being close to someone in the house. So, I don't know. You know, like I said, Vince has a girlfriend. And then, Mickey also said everyone has a showmance except her. you know, I still like Mickey, but let's face facts. Who in the world's gonna be with Mickey? It would have to be a strong, strong man, and Keanu is not the one. And because Mickey's just a strong, aggressive woman, and so no, she doesn't have a boyfriend or a showman in there because it's just not gonna happen. So, but it's not to say that's a beautiful woman, and if she had the right man in there, she could, but not this time. And they did the pick of the game, Lauren and Kelly were picked, the ones that Keanu talked with to take Vince off the block. Well, this was a good game because it brought Angela along. My girl Angela came back, and she was just as strange as she always was. Even in a guest role on the show, they had her being herself, eating cheese and grapes, and worrying about somebody taking her food. She still worries about somebody who took her food and when she competed. So the game was excellent, but it was kind of an irritating game because they kept knocking blocks down after you build it up. I thought they could have designed it a little bit better to instead of doing that, because I don't know, it was like I said, after it happened so many times, you're like, okay, who didn't think to make this a better, faster game? But it was a game, and guess who won? Once again, the person that everybody is gunning for, that Keanu was voting for, Morgan, won. So props off to Morgan. So Morgan won that, and it was really a hard game. And then Rachel and her team, Rachel decided to keep herself off the block and her team off the block. She decided to make lasagna for Keanu. You just can't make it up. They're in that house. And so to appease him and to get him to go along with her, she makes him lasagna because he loves lasagna. Well, anyway, they had the veto meeting to see who was going to be taken off the block. He tried his best to get Morgan to take Vince off the block, but Vince knew this was wrong, and he was like, Morgan flirted with it, but she knew that Keanu was already had a sabotage baked in if she did that. He said he would tell her he wouldn't put up Ashley, but he would. So she decided not to use the veto on herself. I mean, she decided not to use the veto for someone else. She used it for herself, which was a smart move. That's what she should do. So that leaves now Mickey, Vince, and then Ashley came up. Ashley made this crazy statement about Keanu. And I don't think she should have done it. And I don't think Will was too thrilled about it because, why make yourself stand out when you could, I don't know, well, it was just sloppy. But, that's not usually, Ashley stands out a little bit a lot of times, but, she's still the airheaded one, but she had to make that statement like she was really standing on ground and stuff. I felt like everybody else felt, just ignore poor old Ashley. They're not going to vote for her. They're not going to try to take her out. I think their goal is probably going to be Vince, because Vince has burned a bridge all the way through. So it's Mickey, Vince, who is mad at Keanu. So who did I say won that game? It's Mickey and Vince, and then he's gonna put up Ashley. So it's on now, because people's feelings are hurt, distressed, because they're living in the Big Brother house. It's just fantastic. All right, everybody. Forgive me for being giddy, but I just watched it. Usually that's what happens when I just watched it. So I'm on my way to help a cousin. So you have a good evening. Bye-bye.